UFOs, ghosts, ancient civilizations, the supernatural. We may never know the truth about what's really going on, but it sure is fun to speculate.
This is Factor Theory Live with your host, Stephen Crawford.
Except for my shoes, life's the same, you're shaking like a travel around. Life's the same, it's all inside you. It's so easy to play up your breakdown. It's so easy to fly through.
All right. Sorry about Steve Crawford. Factor Theory Live. No, I'm not dying. Just smoking some herbage. It is August 2nd, 10:03 p.m. And, yeah, I don't know what happened with the bumpers, but luckily I had some recorded, so I was able to play it. And to the person in the chat room who said, dead air, let's put on a retweet. Hey, 10 o'clock every night, every Sunday night, I am on the air here. If you don't hear something right away, it could be that the network's down or something happened. So don't go calling for a round table. All right, so I've got a bunch of things I wanted to talk about and trying to figure out the order, because the order can really be everything. Well, you know what? Let's start with being woke white people. Now, how can we be a woke white person? Well, we've got our friend J.P. Spears for that. This is a clip of this guy. I'm going to start donating to him because he's friggin' hilarious. Check this out. Let me know what you guys think in the chat room about this dude. Priceless.
Are you a white person who wants a lot of credit for helping to create racial equality while you do nothing to help create racial equality? If so, that means you want to be a woke white person. So listen up, because I'm going to give you your PhD in wokeology. As a woke white person, your mission is to attack as many other white people for being racist online as you possibly can. But don't worry, them actually being racist isn't a prerequisite for you attacking them for being racist. Everyone knows that racism is hate, but as a woke white person, you know that the best way to heal the world from hate is to hate the people that are spreading the hate. Let's take a look at your woke white person black belt skills in action. Tomorrow we should cancel the term white belt. Let's say you encounter another white person saying something as racially hateful as, "I love black people." Now, at first glance, that could seem supportive to the black community, but as a wokeologist, you know that people never say what they mean. They mean what you think they mean. You can accurately determine what they meant by leaping to incredibly large assumptions that come from your mind, not theirs. Then you can inform them what they meant by what they said. In this case, it could be, "You just think the black community is so weak that they need your love." And now we've just exposed their white fragility. Then probably ignore the fact that you're acting from the presupposition that the black community is so weak that they need you to protect them. Next, call on the hyenas to come attack your prey in the comments section. And finally, be sure to take a screenshot of their post. That way, after they delete it from being emotionally abused by you, you can repost it to make sure they keep getting what you think they deserve. And so their thought that you don't like will continue to live on. You get the sensation that you've helped because of the highly emotionally charged feeling that developed inside of you while you weren't helping. This helps make your efforts all about you, not about racially oppressed people. Because it's your job to find racism in what white people are doing and saying online, whether it's there or not, here's some woke principles that'll help you find racism in anything. Assume that all white people that aren't you are racist. Take what they say out of context. For example, if they said, "I didn't enjoy watching that game," you could say, "That's because a lot of the players are black." Accuse them of racism for what they're not saying. For example, if they post a picture of their dinner, accuse them of racism because there's no black people in their food. Accuse them of being a racist. And if they deny it, inform them that denying being a racist is the first thing a racist person would do. If you see someone actively supporting racial equality, let them know that they're only doing it as a virtue signal, and therefore they're bolstering their image at the expense of black people. And just know your virtue signaling of pointing out their virtue signaling is completely different from what they're doing. Occasionally, you might run into actual racism in your feed, but probably not, because scumbags usually aren't that honest. But even if you do run into it, you won't know what to do with it, because all you've got is weaponized anger, criticism, and hate. Compassion, connection, and education aren't concepts bleached into your DNA. Now, let me help you understand the dynamics of how you as a woke white person are making a real difference in racial equality. When you put all your time and energy into finding faults with other white people and attacking them, it means you're not putting your time and energy into helping and supporting racially oppressed people. Does that make sense, how you're not helping the people that you think you are? And it's great because you know that instead of putting your energy into being for something, it's way more constructive to put your energy into being against something. But that doesn't matter because you get woke warrior social justice points for criticizing and hopefully even canceling other white people. But you don't get nearly as many points for helping the racially oppressed because people don't notice you doing it. A general rule of thumb is, if it doesn't give you a dopamine hit from social media acknowledgement, it doesn't help create change with racial equality. Congratulations! You now have your doctorate in wokeology. Being the woke white person that you are, thank you for crusading with your sword of hate to help heal the world of hate. You're doing God's work. What's up, you beautiful weirdo? Thank you for watching, and I want to take a moment and thank Bioptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough for sponsoring this video. I've been thoroughly enjoying taking...
All right, so that's JP's view on woke people, and the guy freaking nails it, did he not? I mean, holy crap. And yes, Sonali, he does that show, and it's $9 to listen, but you know, he is a stand-up comedian as well, and you know that's right. He's a stand-up comedian, and that's how he makes his living. And with all the clubs and everything shut down, doesn't really have too much choice. Now, I'm sure he could do it for $7 or even $5, but what the heck? A guy's got to make a buck, right? And nothing wrong with making money doing stuff like that to make us laugh our butts off, because I don't remember a bad video by that guy. I must have seen at least 30 or 40 over the years. Trying to get used to this going back and forth. It's actually freaking me out. So I've been doing better lately. Somebody had asked earlier if I was doing a little better. Yeah, I'm not quite as depressed as I was. I'm starting to feel a little bit like myself again. I'm just hoping the memories start coming back. Obviously, I know who I am and stuff, but I knew so many things about so many things, a little bit about everything, and it's all flipping gone. Most of it, anyway. And that's what happens when you fall down a lot and smack your head. Of course, it could be cool and say, yeah, man, or try to be cool and say, yeah, man, it's MK Ultra. They're messing with me big time. I believe they are, but that's besides the point. I happen to know for a fact that I have fallen and smashed my head at least 6 times, had at least 3 concussions. So it's got to be partly due to that, but yeah, I am feeling better. So thanks for asking. Right now, just scrolling through some things because there was some things I wanted to talk about, and I'm just gonna make sure I get the right ones. Okay, here's one. So I haven't watched cable TV in so friggin' long. Last time I did, Ellen DeGeneres was still popular, but today in Forbes, what's the date? No, it was from yesterday, August 1st, 2020 in Forbes. The editor's pick, the dramatic fall of Ellen DeGeneres marks a shift in the way we see celebrities. And you know what? It couldn't have come at a better time. And apparently, okay, well, first, the backlash against Ellen DeGeneres has been brewing for some time. We saw the first wave of disapproval after DeGeneres attempted to rehabilitate the public image of George W. Bush, framing their friendship as something wholesome, as though the Iraq War was nothing more than a problematic tweet. Now, I'm confused right off the hop, because isn't Ellen, I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but isn't she a liberal? And if she's not, why was she so popular with everybody? Why was she allowed to achieve such heights of fame? Now DeGeneres faces serious accusations of creating a horrendous toxic work environment with alleged bullying, intimidation, and sexual harassment running rampant behind the scenes of the Ellen DeGeneres show. Wow, really? To Ellen? It's got some Brad Garrett. No, if it's the guy I'm thinking of, that's dude from Everybody Loves Raymond. She tried to put out an emotional apology to her staff. But, I mean, when these people know what a douchebag you are, does going on TV and crying when they know what a great actress you are really make any sort of a difference? It's just insane. But these people, while you guys know, they're so out of touch with reality that it's just insanity that anybody would, from our childhood, we're raised on Disney and all this stuff, and we see the prince and the princess and the fame and the money, and we want that, and we revere the people who have that, and that is just such a mistake because they're actors, right? Just like Trudeau here in Canada, friggin' guy was a drama teacher, right? And people were like, oh, he's cried. Look, one of our better bands, actually 2 great musicians. I was never a huge fan of Tragically Hip, but everybody liked at least a few of their songs. If you don't know who they are, go check them out. I may actually pop up a clip in a little while, or at least maybe for the next show. I like to take a clip of a song, make sure it's no more than 60 seconds, and have it edited for the show. But the guy, he's there with these tears. I actually had a funny meme somebody had shared. They took a clip. I'm pretty sure it was a picture of him from when the singer from Tragically Hip died of cancer, brain cancer. And he was fake crying on TV. And the meme says, I put the potato in the microwave and pushed the pizza button. But 30 seconds later, it was still a potato. And it's Trudeau crying. And it's priceless. Because the guy was a drama teacher, for crying out loud. He was put into office to help sell the bullshit stories that we're being told. And I want to look into, because a lot of us know about the Smith-Mundt Act. And I bring it up on almost every show because it's so friggin' relevant. It's incredible that so many people just gloss over it. Even us and even myself, like all of us here and stuff, every once in a while we forget. We're like, why isn't Trump doing this, or why aren't they saying that? And there's a lot of tiptoeing that has to go on because of the Smith-Mundt Act. Now, I'm curious as to whether or not here in Canada we have such an act. I don't think we do. I've tried researching it. Nothing's popped up. If there are any listeners out there or even any other hosts that may be listening and you know a way that you can help me figure that out, I'm thinking about starting a lawsuit against Justin Trudeau, all of his little lackeys, and the Liberal Party of Canada and Ontario, and the PC Party of Ontario for all the crap they're pulling. There is this thing called Royal Maritime Admiralty Law, and law of the land, law of the sea, cemetery law, rule of law. These are all the things that were created and put into place to allow the elite to tap dance around any type of criminal charge. And we're not told about these things. But if you find out, like for me, it was Jordan Maxwell opened my eyes. If you find someone like Jordan and you see these videos, go Google the stuff before it's taken down. And actually, I may do that myself and just take a bunch of screen captures of this stuff, because these are the laws that they use to really screw with our lives in general, overall, and get away with it. But the thing is, we can use those laws too if we know how to. So I'm thinking if I can find myself a talented paralegal and tell them what's up, what specifically I want them to research, and what I want to accomplish, because I doubt very much at this point I'm going to be able to find a lawyer who's willing to take the case, because, you know, for them, especially if they're liberal or they're in the club, they're going to know that that's a death sentence for them. It may be a death sentence for me, but with everything I've gone through in my life, things that I screwed up, things that were denied me, even family, my son, I've got grandkids who have no idea I exist. You know, with all of that crap that's going on, it's very easy to get lost, like I just did. And it's not even because of the pot. It's hard to focus on it because that's what they do to us, right? They're not giving us a chance to catch our breath, and that's the plan. They can't have us catching our breath and having time to analyze what they're doing. They need to keep juggling news stories and keep dangling keys just to keep us off their scent. It's worked for a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the middle that are starting to wake up now. There's a lot of people on the left that are coming around. They may not be coming around totally like they love Trump, but they're starting to realize after 4 years of Democrats doing nothing but stirring up shit in their own cities, they're starting to realize, wait a minute, they're telling us to hate Trump, but what the hell are the Democrats doing for us here in our cities? What have they done for us to make things better, other than try to blame Trump for the fact that nothing's getting done, even though things were getting done? You know, it's just, how can you not wake up? And the problem is, I've said it before, we've got to figure out a way to talk to them. And I've been really bad for this over the years. I felt like I was entitled to badmouth liberals because I used to be one. But not everybody gets a chance to wake up. Not everybody's open-minded, right? I have not had, I think the last time I had a vaccination, and that's a big part of it, is the vaccinations that mess up your brain. And the last time I had one, I was probably 16. So I've been a lot more open-minded and awake to a lot of the things, or at least slightly aware that something's not right for a long time. And I've been questioning it since I was at least 8 or 9. Man, I was like 5 or 6. No, you know what? I found out, I had told a story before about when my I was like 4 or 5 and my grandfather died. I found out it was more like I was 7 or 8. Not that that really makes a huge difference, but I don't like to lie. I found out I was wrong about something, so I'm going to say on air, oh, hey, that thing I said, yeah, I was wrong. You're not going to get that from too many people. I was around 8. So, from that time on, and even before the things I remembered from when I was around 4, you can't see the things I've seen, hear the things I've heard, and not realize we're being lied to about so much. And you guys know what I'm saying. But how do we get this across the aisle, right? How do we get, do we have to pretend to be liberals for a little bit while we're talking to these people and just go, oh, well, foster a relationship, get them to respect you, and then find something that's an on the fence article, not going one way or the other, but just some common sense and logic. Bring it up to them and go, check this out. Tell me what you think about it. And 'cause unless we get that done, there is going to be a civil war. How can there not be? How long can tax-paying, law-abiding citizens who are also gun owners just bend over without saying, you know what? Screw you, little bitches. They're supposed to be the humanitarians, right? The liberals. That's why I considered myself a liberal. I'm an animal lover. I'm, equal rights for everybody still is and always will be my thing. Classes and races and religions, screw it all. Because those are the things that have been put into place to keep us fighting each other. And I myself happen to be one of those people that gets triggered when I hear religious talk. And I know that's an issue I've got to deal with. But it's hard not to get triggered when you see. Look, I don't know if I talked about this on my debut show where I was talking about myself, but I was molested by a priest when I was younger. So when I start hearing all this religious nonsense, free speech and all, yes, but I personally want nothing to do with it. I am spiritual. I believe in a creator. I believe there are some good stories and good lessons and points that can be learned from the Bible, but I also happen to know that it was created by a Jew out of the Roman Empire. He was it Josephus? I can't remember the last name right now. I wasn't planning on talking about that, but he was a Jewish rebel that was captured by the Romans and wrote the Bible for the Romans to be able to, at that point in time, take over and start Christianity to get everybody on their side, at least the religious people. But he left a whole bunch of stuff in there that was fantastic for the Jews, like the fact that they're God's chosen and things like that, because here we are dealing with that in the here and now. So religion has got to go. If you're a grown man and a grown one, look, we know that Santa Claus isn't real. We know the Tooth Fairy isn't real. We know the Easter Bunny isn't real. I know there is no man sitting up in a cloud, some friendly old guy with a white fluffy beard blowing me kisses. Because if you read the Bible, this alleged God from the Bible is telling people to sacrifice their only child, telling people to go out and kill their enemies, kill people who don't think the way they do. Religion was also created so a bunch of pedophiles can have sex with your children. Was it Pennsylvania, I believe, Maybe it was a year ago, 6 months to a year ago. Jesus, what was it? Something like 400 priests were busted? All right, I'll be back on the other side.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
And to do when you want it.
Dance for girls and men, woman. Mr. We could use a man like Hangers over again. Empty no welfare states.
Everybody pulls his weight.
Gee, our rollers now and great. Knows what a day.
Oh, what a great show that was. That's something that white people and black people agree on. All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Good Times, all those shows were friggin' priceless. And it was them making fun of each other's race to a degree, but we all just laughed. Can we not go back to those days? I think we should. Well, maybe not completely. But it was so friggin' funny, right? All those shows were friggin' funny. Richard Pryor, Red Fox, the way they would talk about white people. And, you know, it was just priceless. We all had a sense of humor back then. I miss being able to laugh. So there were a couple of clips I have here. Just trying to figure out which one do I want to go with first, because most with Bill Cooper. We're going to get into Bill Cooper. Just because he kicked ass. Okay, so God, I hate this. This is like trying to pick a chocolate out of a bunch that they're all different kinds and you love every one. I've got like 5 clips of his here and I'm trying to figure out which one I want to play. All right, let's do the Bin Laden clip. This one's about 7 minutes. This is Bill predicting the attacks would be blamed on Bin Laden. Now I'm going to unshare and then reshare the sound. And it is time to get serious for a second here. Oh, shite. Was that the right one? No, I was about to start the wrong one. There it is.
Can you believe what you have been seeing on CNN today, ladies and gentlemen? Can you believe it? Supposedly, a CNN reporter found Osama bin Laden, took a television camera crew with him, went into Osama bin Laden's hideout, interviewed him and his top leadership, his top lieutenants and colonels and generals in their hideout.
We begin with the story of a shadowy multimillionaire who has declared a holy war against the United States. To some in the Islamic world, he is a hero. To the United States government, though, he is a terrorist, a real threat to the lives of U.S. troops. He is Osama bin Laden, and Impact's Peter Arnett takes us into his hideaway and into his mind with this first ever television interview.
This is a CNN reporter with a camera crew. And he came out and told everybody, within 3 weeks, Osama bin Laden is going to attack the United States and Israel.
Amidst these remote mountains of Afghanistan are the various hiding places of one of the world's most wanted men, Osama bin Laden.
We declared a jihad, a holy war against the United States government because it is unjust, criminal, and tyrannical.
Now, don't you think that's kind of strange, folks? You see, because the largest intelligence apparatus in the world with the biggest budget in the history of the world has been looking for Osama bin Laden for years and years and years and can't find him. The FBI also, under the leadership of Louis Freeh, has been looking for Osama bin Laden for years and years and years and years and years and many years and can't find him. Some doofus jerk-off reporter with a camera crew waltzes right into his hideout and interviews him.
A year ago, bin Laden took refuge here in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is perhaps the only country in the world that will accept him. Our quest to meet bin Laden begins in Peshawar, Pakistan, and then across the Khyber Pass to Jalalabad, Afghanistan, where we wait for several days. Finally, bin Laden's media advisor arrives. We are allowed to take our lights and sound equipment, but not our camera. There have been assassination attempts against bin Laden, and his security force worries our camera might contain a tracking device that would give away his location. The interview will be conducted with their camera. As best as we can reconstruct it, this is the route that we took to meet bin Laden. We are put in a minivan with curtained windows and drive west. As night falls, we move to a four-wheel drive vehicle that makes its way up a rough mountain path past checkpoints manned by heavily armed men. We are searched and electronically scanned to ensure that we're not carrying a tracking device. About 5,000 feet up is a small hut. We are allowed about an hour and a half with bin Laden. We have submitted questions in advance. He agrees to answer most of them, but does not allow follow-up questions. Mr. bin Laden, you have declared a jihad against the United States. Can you tell us why?
The U.S. government has committed acts that are extremely unjust, hideous, and criminal through its support of the Israeli occupation of Palestine. And we believe the U.S. is directly responsible for those killed in Palestine, Lebanon, and Iraq. Due to its subordination to the Jews, the arrogance of the United States regime has reached the point that they occupied Arabia, the holiest place of the Muslims, who are more than 1 billion people in the world today. For this and other acts of aggression and injustice, we have declared jihad against the U.S.
Is the jihad directed against the U.S. government or United States troops in Arabia? What about U.S. civilians in Arabia or the people of the United States?
We have focused our declaration of jihad on striking at the U.S. soldiers inside Arabia, the country of the two holy places, Mecca and Medina. In our religion, it is not permissible for any non-Muslim to stay in Arabia. Therefore, even though American civilians are not targeted in our plan, they must leave. We do not guarantee their safety.
Now, that tells us two things. Either everyone in the intelligence community and all of the intelligence agencies of the United States government are blithering idiots and incompetent fools, including the entire apparatus of the FBI and all of their personnel, or they're lying to us. They're not looking for him at all. And the second is the truth. You see, the CIA created Osama bin Laden. They recruited him. They trained him. They found his leadership. They brought them all together. They showed them how to fight the Soviet Union in Afghanistan, and when that was over, they still continued to fund him and train him, and they're now using him to help bring about world government by making him the big boogeyman because they can't use Saddam Hussein anymore. Did you ever hear of Osama bin Laden before you heard of Saddam Hussein? When did you start hearing of Osama bin Laden? It was after Saddam Hussein and Iraq were supposedly neutralized in the Gulf War because they needed a new boogeyman. But they're not looking for Osama bin Laden because I'm telling you right now, if I were the head of the Central Intelligence Agency, within 2 weeks, I would have him dead or in custody without fail. Without fail. If I had those assets and that money, he would be mine. I would own his terrorist ass within 2 weeks without fail. A reporter from CNN, and his little camera crew got in to Osama bin Laden's secret hideout and conducted an interview. If you don't believe me, tune into CNN. They're probably running it right now as I'm speaking. And if you believe it, you are one of the stupidest jerks that ever lived on the face of this earth. And whatever is going to happen that they're going to blame on Osama bin Laden, don't you even believe it.
And like Sonali brought up in the chat room, he was right. He was right. Okay, so this one is a little too long. That one we just heard. All right, here's a short one. This is Bill talking about the false flag alien invasion. Now, this one, it sounds like somebody recorded it from a TV, but I cleaned it up so you will be able to make out what's being said. Bill Cooper explains false flag alien invasions.
Let me make one thing perfectly clear here. I'm not into mysterious things or witchcraft or disappearing ships or anything like that. My only purpose and the only reason I even began to do any of this is because I believe that sometime in the near future we're all in danger of losing the affluence that we worked hard for. We're in danger of losing our personal freedoms and becoming somebody's slave in the New World Order. And that's the only thing I care about. That's the only thing I'm fighting, and that's the only reason I'm doing any of this. I had a hypothesis statement saying that this is a hypothesis based upon this, and this, which has been taken off. And at the end, I had 5 conclusions. Number 5 was the fact that this could be the greatest hoax in the history of the world, designed to create an alien threat that does not exist to bring about a one-world government.
Is it true that the U.S. Army possesses spaceships and will eventually fake an alien invasion in which will unite the world under the leadership of Freemasons?
That's one of the scenarios. Let me put it this way for you so that you'll understand it a little better. Governments cannot exist unless the people feel threatened. The primary job of a government is to give the people a modicum of safety. The United States government was formed by a union of the states for their mutual benefit and protection. Okay? Now, to have a one-world government and tear down all the national boundaries, you have to instill the people of the world with enough fear that they're willing to give up what they used to be loyal to and join with something that's new that they don't know what it's going to be. What better way to do that than if the Earth were attacked or invaded by some other species from some other planet, whether real or imagined? UFOs are real. I can prove that at least some of them are owned and operated by humans here on this Earth.
Okay, they're humans, but there's no alien ones.
We don't know.
So you don't know?
I don't know if aliens exist or not, but I will tell you this. In 1917, John Dewey said this in 1917, what better way to unite all humanity in a one-world government than if we were attacked by some other species from some other planet? This alien abduction thing is probably the most sophisticated and successful mind control operation ever conducted in the history of the world, and it's designed to make us believe that we're being threatened by some other species from some other planet so that they can have their one world government. What I'm trying to tell you is nobody really knows, but whatever the truth about UFOs is, it's being used to make us give up our freedoms and join in a one world totalitarian socialist state, and that's what we better be careful of.
And it looks like that's exactly what's going on right now, as far as the trying to get us to join a one world, new world order totalitarian state. They had to kill him, right? They can't have somebody like him saying the things he said. And, you know, it makes me wonder, because I've been so heavily shadow banned myself, then when I see other people posting the same things that I did and do, and they're not being screwed with, and they've got like 1 million followers and stuff, it makes me wonder, okay, have they just been really lucky, or are they in on it? Because I've never been about trying to get rich, but I got to tell you, like, I'm on government assistance. I am on disability pension. That's considered government assistance. I consider it retirement pension because I gave my back to a friggin' political family. But I would love to be able to get off the government teat, right? Just like anybody would. They will not allow it to happen for me. I tried to just do a GoFundMe for my cat, for crying out loud, and they wouldn't even let me on the site. So I want to know, how are all these other people who are putting out, like doctors coming out with the hydroxychloroquine? Now, yeah, they're being shut down a lot too. But there's a lot of people coming out with information like that aren't being shut down. And I'm wondering, how the hell are they doing it? On Twitter, I called an Antifa chick a dumb bitch. She tried to start with cops. So I just put dumb bitch. Now, maybe that's offensive to a bunch of people. I'm from a time where we call guys dumb bitch when they're being stupid. I'd call my buddy, don't be a dumb bitch, that kind of thing. So, but they permanently suspended me from Twitter just for that. Now, mind you, it was the second time I did that, but just saying dumb bitch on two people from Antifa. And I am no, actually, I think one was Ann Coulter. That girl, she professes to be a Republican, but I don't know, I think she had a mad crush, unrequited, on Trump, because he said one thing she didn't like, and well, actually, to be honest, I don't really know. It's been about a month since I've been able to see on Twitter, but that chick was just going off, and even started when this all first broke out, the riots and all that stuff, tried to blame it on Trump. Well, there's your president. And it's like, oh yeah, because there's Trump lighting a Molotov cocktail and throwing it into a window, right? And yeah, flipping dumb bitch. May as well say it now, right? Already been kicked off of Twitter. And then the Free Speech Network, Parler. Everybody's going, oh, Parler's great. Yeah. Sounds great. I was on there for 2 hours. It looked really cool. I started sharing a few of the shows from my Red Pill Roundtable, where I have the co-host with Scorpio, and from this show. And after 2 hours, boom, they took me off. They signed me out and won't let me sign back in. They won't send me an email so I can sign back in. It's insane. So I haven't really, since I got back, since I started this station anyway, is when I started occasionally saying stuff about Zionists. But they've been shutting me down for an awful long time, and actually bringing that up. There was another clip by Bill that I've got here. That's not.
Can you believe what you have been?
No. You cannot believe it. Okay, here it is. Now just make sure. Do we got enough time for it? Yes, we do. All right. So here's a clip called Bill Cooper Understands the Game.
They are internationalist socialists and care not one iota for the Constitution, individual liberties, freedom, or the principles and ideals upon which this nation was founded. And many of them are Jews. And that absolutely amazes me, for aside from England, this has been the only other country that has ever welcomed Jews as whole and complete citizens and has given them a home, opportunity, and wealth, and has protected them from persecution and continues to do so to this day. You see, it is the promise. These people are trained by their leaders, their rabbis, to be professional victims. They are lied to and manipulated, and they are people just like the rest of us, and if you were in their shoes, you would behave in exactly the same manner. They are told by their leaders that the world is their enemy, that you and I are their enemy, and it is not true.
I have been telling you, ladies and gentlemen, for years,
Don't go after the Jews, because the average Jew is no different than anybody else. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I keep hearing this bullshit anti-Semitic label pinned on everybody who is a loyal American and who is standing up for the freedoms of all of us, including Jews, I just may be forced to change my mind. If you're Jewish and you're listening, you had better listen to what I'm telling you. We're all sick and tired of this crap. If somebody just looks at you funny, it becomes an anti-Semite. If this country held as many anti-Semitic people as you claim and as you accuse, you would all have been dead a long time ago. This is the only place in the world where you could come and live comfortably without being an outcast. I have seen the damage that the label of anti-Semitic has done to people around this country, and it has even been applied to me, even though I have been one of your staunchest offenders, and I am sick of it. If you are Jewish, you had better listen. If there's a backlash against you, you will be the ones who have caused it, I assure you. People are getting fed up with a lot of things. And if they get fed up enough, hell hath seen no fury ever than that which will be unleashed by the American people against those who are attempting to oppress them in whatever guise.
And instead, what we got was the Jewish people decided to do Antifa and handhold BLM and get that whole thing going, and here we are. Preach on, Brother Bill. I'm absolutely curious to know for sure, because we've been told so much bull. You know, is there an afterlife? I think if there is, we cannot allow ourselves a proper, or quote unquote, proper Catholic or Christian burial, because I think those are the things that are keeping us trapped here. There was that wiki thing I read last week or the week before about Lucifer. I think it was the week before. And how this was a realm created for Lucifer, by Lucifer, and he brought spirits down. Now, like I know earlier I was bitching about religion, but I also said there are some interesting points and stuff in there, and they took bits and pieces of known knowledge, threw all this stuff together with some of their made-up crap, and shit out a Bible for us. But like 30 different versions or something? I'm not even sure how many Watchmen would have to tell us how many different versions we have. And a relative of mine commissioned one of them, the King James Bible. Okay? So, like, the relative of mine is telling you this crap. You know? And it makes me wonder about my own family history. I know that on both sides of the family, there were captains, there were knights. I know that one of my relatives, I believe it was on the Crawford side, it was a Sir William MacLeod or Sir William Crawford had helped, was murdered, tortured to death for not giving up Robert the Bruce. And another one had helped save someone's life and stuff. But then how many of the rest of us, because at some point the MacLeods and Crawfords gained power and prestige. We have castles over in the Crawford family. We don't have a clan chief right now. I find that kind of interesting. I was looking into what I would have to do to be a clan chief. That was a while ago, though. I can't remember. I think it amounted to if I had people like minions, you know, if I could get some minions with some weapons, had some property. I think those were the main things I needed to be able to become clan chief. I think that'd be pretty neat. There should be a break coming up any second, but if there's not, that's okay, because there it is. All right, see you guys on the other side.